inspiring. I mean, I've actually played a lot of little some other instruments earlier in my life.
Did you?
Guitar, I played a little bit. Flute, I played a little bit. But, as I started to, get more and more into music, I've always had this rhythm thing that I've always liked. And my older brother had the drum set of the family, not me, but once I got to sit behind a drum set, and actually my father took us to a Latin restaurant down in Miami, and I was, probably 6 or 7, 8 years old, and there was a live, Latin band they were playing, and they since they let the kids go up there and play and stuff, and once I got up there, the band, leader, took my dad aside. Said, your son, has a natural thing for drums. So I didn't even know how to read music. It was just a kind of a natural thing. So that's what got me my first Tama drum kit.
Dude, Latin music's fun. Like, literally, I can't tell you how many times I've ended up on 106.9 in my car, which is Spanish music, and didn't even realize I was listening to it until I was all the way over the fucking bridge. That's literally happens. Like, it's just music at that point. You're listening. You're not listening to the lyrics because you're so caught up in the music. Now, that's two different types of music, right? Like, there are songs that are lyrically engaging.
I hope so.
You need good music behind it. Don't get me
I'm
wrong.
hoping that's what we're doing. So I'm hoping.
And then there's bands, or even songs for that matter. Like some bands there's lyrical songs and then there's musical songs, which have both. I get it. You know what I mean? Do you have both of those, or do you think, like you just said, you hope you're the lyrical one?
Well, no, but both. When you said lyrical, I hope we're like that. But I hope both. I mean, I hope that we put all that together in a nice balance.
Who writes the music? Who starts off writing the music? I know it's a work in progress.
Most of the stuff I've written. I mean, this is we have one that Tom does that wrote that we do, and I'm collaborating with both of them. But yeah, the stuff that we're doing now and the previous CDs. I mean, I wrote that stuff. So words and music.
When you do that, so you write most of it. Most bands have a individual that writes most of the music.
Yeah.
But then when you get into put it together, how does that process go? Like,
well,
you
got to be collaborative. Yeah, the thing is, there's different people. Some people they write something and they micromanage everything, and I don't do that because otherwise then it all sounds like you. And so I think the thing that benefits us is that we have a good variety because I try to be as collaborative as possible. I try to have these guys contribute whatever they have to contribute. Doesn't mean that it'll always work all the time, and we'll have discussions about it. But for the most part, they contribute how they feel about it. And that's how it works. Same thing has been, I've been working with Ellen on this stuff for decades, and it's the same kind of thing. Sometimes she'll come up with something phenomenal. Sometimes I'll whistle it for her. Sometimes, we'll work on it together. But building the song, I may write the song, but we build what you see on the stage together.
Have you ever brought a song to them that collectively they went, not sure about this?
Actually, it's the opposite. Actually, what happens is I bring them a song where, I don't know, guys, let's try, do it. Or one of them would pull a song they heard me play and say, Tom's done that with a couple of songs, say, hey, we need to do that. And I'm like, I don't know. And within an hour, they've convinced me that, why haven't I've done this for years that way.
Yeah, we're at the point where we're having to trim stuff because it won't fit on the new album.
But at least
that's been a problem.
I know guys that no matter how much they go, dude, let's play that song. He's like, nah, that shit's not going to work. At least you listen.
Well, you have to. I mean, one of these things is that my philosophy is do anything you want. I may not like it, and I may say so, but it doesn't hurt to listen to anything. If someone likes a song and wants to contribute some song, it doesn't hurt me for us to take some time and play it and see what it sounds like.
I have an ex-wife with that philosophy.
Yeah,
we're going to take a quick break.
No, I was going to ask you, what is your story? Like, do you have an individual theme of what your band would represent? Like, I want to present to you this thought, or are you just a collective of thoughts? Like, what would you want people to know about you? Why would I listen to you? Do you have a political theme? Do you have a spiritual theme? Do you have a just listen to this shit for fun theme?
I think that we have a theme of, is music that can still say something, still be fun, and not necessarily, don't overthink it.
So each song is different, but
very much so. Yeah.
Story about my bicycle.
Well, very much so. I think you hit on the nail on the head right there. We try to make everything a little bit different. I mean, you don't want to sound exactly the same.
Hammer in a belief.
Well, and you've got to allow these guys to include their influences that might not be my influences. I mean, when I write a song, I'm definitely not thinking of Black Sabbath or Rush. I mean, that's the last thing that came to my mind when I wrote something. But these guys offer from their influences what they offer, and suddenly I see even my own song in a way that I never saw it before. And that wouldn't have happened without these guys' contributions. You know, that's why the people you work with are so important, because they can make or break a song. And these guys have, beyond a doubt, made songs that wouldn't have been anything if these guys hadn't added what they did.
How influential would a drummer's song be versus, say, a vocalist or a guitar song? As a drummer, have you made such an influence on your song? Like the Eagles. The Eagles were very diverse. You guys have a very diverse group.
Absolutely. He brings what he brings to, and it has to fit. And he's got to find a way to make it fit, and we have to find a way to welcome it, and that's what it's all about. So absolutely, he has brought something to the band that we didn't have before. We had another drummer, that I worked with for 30 years, and it just wasn't working out. And Ray came in, and suddenly everything had a new role to it.
It's like we went from there to
it's like just getting into another gear.
30 years.
Yeah, and this is a guy, but this is a guy who comes in, at the time, no band experience, playing obviously, lots of playing experience, but no band experience, and he comes in and he offers a fresh perspective. And for me,
where'd you find him? Craigslist?
No, through a mutual friend, through Ronnie, Glenn Fox, he goes by. Yeah,
but that's gotta be fun too, like being in that environment, and then like you bring this to the table, and then when someone who does the instrument tweaks it a little bit, and you're like, holy shit,
exactly,
that's phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole process has to be just incredible to be a part of, right?
But you have to not be protective. You have to not be overprotective. I have to not be so tied into this is what I meant to write and this is what it has to sound like. I've got to be willing to hear what it could have been that I never thought of and be willing to accept that. And if you are willing to do it, but I've known songwriters that are like, I wrote this is the way I intended it, and everybody's going to follow this. And
that's one of the easiest parts about being in this band is he's open to. They're mostly his songs, but he's open to change on stuff. We've rearranged stuff.
Oh yeah.
He basically comes in with a guitar part and the vocals, and we add all of our parts.
Yeah.
Like I write the bass parts. My influences on bass are like Jaco Pastorius, Jeff Berlin from fusion just type stuff. But rock stuff, it would be more like Chris Squire or Mike Rutherford. Yes, and Genesis, but. Tom's got like a Black Sabbath background and a lot of metal stuff, and you can hear that in a lot of his solos. But mostly, if somebody were to say, what genre are you? Yeah. The closest thing we can come up with is acoustic-driven rock.
That's what we used to call it, yeah.
I hate that. Somebody asked me recently, what style
yeah.
you're playing. I was like, I don't
it's us.
I just don't know.
So you hate that so much you ask them that?
Yes.
That's fucking genius. Great job. It's like a question I hate.
We cover a lot of bases with our styles. I mean, we've got
we only have
country,
one bass. We only have one guy on bass.
Everything. I even took one of his songs he was iffy about, and I put a metal rhythm behind it, and it just woke the whole song up.
And I'm still iffy about that one.
You're iffy about it, but the song
mainly because now it's a song that I don't belong in. These guys would do it great.
He keeps wanting to pull his 12-string out of it, but the 12-string throws that thickness in there.
None of you want to actually be kind of leveled down as I am a jazz player, I am a bass player, I'm a metal player. You're a musician. You want to play music.
Yeah, we fit in with the style that we're coming up with at that moment for that song.
Great.
Just make it work for what we're doing, and
well, that's why I'm bisexual, so I'm not pigeonholed into any one thing.
You're into pigeons? What?
What'd you say? Pigeons? Yeah.
You're into pigeons?
Oh, you got to eat them before you beat them. Listen, so we got in the chat. We have Jill Lynn. What up, Jill? We have Alexandra, and then we have two dicks and a Canadian.
Don't forget Kevin. Kevin says more cowbell.
They need to add some bacon to that too.
Montreal's going to get our team. We get it.
Yeah, halfway. They're going to get half of it apparently. Yeah, I'm not buying that.
Well, Montreal has beautiful cathedrals.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
Cathedrals.
Yeah.
They're going to have more attendance at one of those games than we have for the rest of the half of that season. I can tell you that right now.
For Evan Longoria, so as long as we've got him, we're solid. Right?
There you go.
So we're going to take a break.
Okay.
When we come back, what are we going to do when we come back, Mike?
On that note,
we're going to come back.
We'll discuss it during the break.
Yeah, we'll talk about this.
Let's talk about it.
We're going to discuss this like a band.
This new 3-segment thing is weird.
I don't like it.
I love it. You just have to learn it.
Well, yeah, you sprung that on us. You didn't tell us it was going to be. I was preparing for 4. Okay, I'm sorry.
You were prepared. Don't lie.
We were
You
four.
prepared for that.
I thought we were doing 4.
All right, so we're going to take... We got 3 more segments coming up.
2 more.
All right, let's just take a break and figure this shit out.
That's the smartest thing you've said.
More cowbell. Cello.
Deserted highway, starless night, but there's no reason for this heavy heart. I was hoping someone would maybe stop the car, open up the door, take this weary soul back home. Breezes blowing my way, there's sometimes snow, but there's no reason for this heavy load. And I was hoping someone would show me where I've been, tell me where I'm going, point me to the way back home. Have you ever had one moment in time when you knew just who you are? No longer stumbling just as if you were blind, only to find your way home. A distant skyline, fading lights. Is there a difference if I flee or fight? But I was hoping someone could hear my prayer tonight, burn the midnight candles, and wait for me to come back home. Atlantic coastline, crushing waves. Is there a difference if I'm lost or saved? But I was hoping someone sees the same moon I see, hears the same